Alright, hey guys, so the Taken King reveal stream happened 3 days ago? I don't know. I've been in just like a stupor since then. But essentially, the dust is cleared now. I think all the hype boners have died down. So I think now is the ideal time to talk about all the changes and tweaks and all the cool stuff that's coming. So first and foremost, let's talk about what most people deem to be the biggest and most important piece of news: the swords. Yeah. So apparently the sword is going to be a new kind of heavy weapon. We've seen one of them so far, the Arc Edge. Edge. That's funny. But okay, so essentially they're swords. I mean, there isn't really I don't know what else to say about it. It's sharp. It cuts things. It uses heavy ammo, and some of them are going to be able to guard. I mean, hey, throw a parry in there and I'm on board, but so far I need to see more about the sword to actually get any sort of hype about it. I mean, as it stands, the sword just sort of seems like it's going to be really a hindrance if you choose to use it as a heavy weapon. Like, think about it like this. You're in the Crucible. Heavy ammo's about to drop, your whole team gets it, and you pull out your sword, you're ready to slice some people in half. You're gonna kill somebody. Or at least ideally you would. And you run out into just like the maelstrom of destruction that comes when heavy ammo drops, and you're immediately shot by a rocket. That's pretty much how sword play is going to be. Like, I don't foresee any sort of meta in which the sword is a viable option in PvP, or even PvE for that matter, because when you really get right down to it, pretty much every boss in the game has some sort of like area of effect ground pound that pretty much kills you if you get too close to it. So then the question becomes, if the sword doesn't have the kind of, I guess, range, quote unquote, it would need to be a viable heavy weapon in PvP, and it also wouldn't work well in PvE because, hey man, ground pounds, am I right? Then what is its niche? What purpose does a sword fulfill that something else hasn't already, well, done? Like, if it's supposed to be a close range weapon, why not just use a shotgun? If it's supposed to be... Well, actually, what else can a sword be other than a close range weapon? Like, realistically speaking. I mean, unless like you can throw some swords like a boomerang or something. That'd actually be kinda cool. Yeah. Someone should start a petition for boomerang swords. I want that. I'll start it. Probably won't. Maybe. Well, pretty much that's all I have to say about swords. I mean, they're cool looking, they're probably going to be fun to mess around with, but I don't foresee them actually being any kind of utility, so to speak. So, moving on to the next piece of news. This one I'm actually pretty excited about. Drum roll, please. Exotic blueprints. Okay. So essentially, for those of you who are unaware, because you've been living under a rock for the past couple days, exotic blueprints are essentially... Crap, how does this work? Okay, so basically it's like, you get an exotic, and once you get the exotic, you also like get the blueprint for it, I guess. And once you have the blueprint, like even if you dismantle the exotic, you can pretty much get like another one. Like there will be a kiosk in the... I can't talk. And this word's going to be really hard for me to say just throughout the entirety of the video, so I apologize, but kiosk, those little things where you go to like a flea market and people are selling stuff out of. So yeah, there's going to be a kiosk where you can basically rebuy any exotic you've dismantled. Or maybe it lets you buy like just infinite amounts of them. We haven't been clarified. All we know for certain is that you can rebuy things that you've broken down. However, you probably shouldn't go dismantling things just yet, because we're not sure when exactly the game will start, I guess you could say, remembering that you have things and remembering that you don't have things. So I mean, if you're gonna be like hella dumb and dismantle like, I don't know, your Suros regime right now because it's taking up space, and then the Taken King comes and you don't get to get the new chrome weird looking Suros because you dismantled it early. I mean, I don't know what to tell you. But, so yeah, that'll be fun. Just don't dismantle anything yet because we aren't quite sure when it actually keeps a log of the things you have, so let's hold off on the dismantling for just a little bit. Oh, and yeah, that's pretty much all there is to exotic blueprints. Hey man, I guess it'll be cool. If it works as intended, it should be pretty fun. Honestly, I was going to move into kiosk. Like I have all these note cards here, and kiosk is written like right here. But looking back on it, I don't have much to say about kiosk. Yeah. And mostly because I'm just absolutely sick of saying the word kiosk. It's just 2 K's, an S, an O, an I can't. This word, I can't. It's causing me physical harm. I can't do it. But, okay, moving on to something more important than words I can't pronounce. Vault space. Woo! That thing that we've wanted for like ever and ever, since forever was a time, you know? So, I forget the specific numbers, but I think it's somewhere around 42 spaces for weapons, 42 spaces for armor, and I think all the other minuscule stuff like shaders, ships, all that garbage. Yeah, the general tab, I think that's staying about the same, but there's a considerable bonus to the armor and weapon slots. Like, I think I'm even getting it wrong. I'm almost certain it's a much larger number. Like maybe 62, maybe 70 something. I mean, I honestly wish I had taken a screen cap of it so I would have the picture as a reference point. Oh man, that was bad. I am so sorry. But yeah, I wish I had taken a picture to have some kind of reference point, but right now I'm just going, you know, candid, no reference points. I'm sorry. It's incredibly plebeian. But just imagine the vault, but like twice as big, and now there's like tabs to scroll over. So it's like Google Plus. You got tabs and circles now. It's radical. But yeah, so vault space is getting bigger. Woo, I'm loving it. It's like McDonald's over here, man. I'm loving it. Alright, so you know, this is always the part that I really didn't want to talk about. It's the sad part. You know, it's the part that's gonna bring us some tears for people who have been here for a while. We are almost certainly going to have to say goodbye to all the old legendaries. Like, because there's no upgrade. There's no etheric light. There's no radiant capsule, shard, energy, fractal. There's none of that. It's over. Old legendaries are done. We had a good run. It's been a long day from where we began, and I'ma tell you all about it when I see you again. Unfortunately, seeing you again would be never, because you're never coming back. Sorry, old legendaries, but that's just a fact of the matter. I mean, you know, and it's funny how they keep trying to sugarcoat the fact that like all the old legendaries aren't coming with us, you know? They're always like, and every mention of, okay, well, old legendaries aren't coming with you, but you can still use them in old activities. Huh? Remember the Vault of Glass? You like the Vault of Glass? Go back in there. Yeah, and I mean, it's sweet. It's sweet that they're trying to make us feel, you know, not as bad about it, but there's no sugarcoating it, man. I mean, why go back into the vault with like, I don't know, a Praetorian foil, Praetor's timepiece at like 365 when you can go in there, well actually no, not 365, okay, so there's gonna be like kind of a stat crunch, like 365 is now about 150, and the weapons going into the Taken King, like the very first ones you get are going to be around like 170-ish, and it just keeps going up from there, I guess. I hear the cap is 280, but meh, don't quote me on it. No screenshots I have. I ain't got no concrete info, man. I just know that new weapons are going to be exponentially more powerful than old weapons. And if that is the case, it almost makes you wonder why one would even want to use old weapons, if there's pretty much no point. I mean, why go into the Vault of Glass with something old when you can go in there with something new with almost twice as much attack? Like, I'm just not seeing the reasoning here. Like, I'm attached to the old weapons we have, but I don't think I'm attached enough to, you know, hinder my progress because of it. But, you know, I feel like I've had a good run. I've had my zombie apocalypse since, like, maybe December-ish? Yeah, about December-ish. That's, around the time. It was like my first legendary. I'm gonna miss it, but hey, I guess we gotta move on. This is year 2 now, baby, we gotta move on. But you know, sometimes I wish I could keep living in the past for just one more day. Meh, oh well. Okay, so moving on, the Cryptarch. Yeah, I guess he's useful now. I mean, like, he's selling legendaries that can, like, decrypt into exotics, because that's what legendaries do. So, I mean, that's cool, I guess it's cool, but the weapon engrams cost, like, 135 of these legendary marks, and you only get, like, there's no cap to how many legendary marks you can get. However, you can only spend 200 a week. So, like, I mean, if the Cryptarch's engrams cost like 135 for the weapons and 70-ish for the armors, I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm glad he's selling things that are actually useful now. I mean, I was honestly kind of sick of him trying to pawn off his green and white engrams on us for like actual money. But now, I mean, it feels like you've just taken us out of the frying pan to put us into the skillet. Like, for all intents and purposes, he isn't selling anything that's particularly useful to anyone who, how do I put this, has actually been playing the game, because if you've been playing, then you have a legendary, you have exotics, and why would you want to spend, like, almost 80% of your weekly income on this thing that you already have / don't really need? Like, it's a welcome change, but I don't know. Maybe I'm just looking at it through the wrong lens. Not too particularly excited about the new Cryptarch. Oh wait, well, I mean actually now legendaries cannot possibly decrypt into blues, so I guess that's cool. I mean, that makes me smile a little bit. Not a lot, but a little bit. Oh, and while we're on the topic of things that are happening in the tower, so during the stream, like, they went by and talked to that robot, you know, the one over by the shipwright, the one who sells the spin metal, the relic iron, all those upgrade materials. And I think they talked to the Crucible one too. The guy, he also sells stuff. So pretty much, when they were talking to, like, the robot guys, like the spin metals, the spirit blooms, the helium filaments, none of them were really there. I mean, you know, there's still things that are subject to change, because the DLC isn't quite out yet. There are still things that could change. However, that's kind of worrying. I mean, I like buying spirit blooms from those guys. I don't really want to go back to the days of looping around the Cosmodrome for like half an hour just to upgrade like a weapon, man. I mean, I don't want to go back to the Dark Ages. Dark Ages were pretty bad. All it was spirit bloom loops. Yeah, it was gross. I really don't want to go back to those times. And you know, maybe that's why all these new ghosts have perks like finds more spirit bloom, or detects spin metal, or can pull helium filaments out of his phaser coils and stuff like that. It's like, wait, what? You know, I was raising an eyebrow at all those ghost perks where it's like find more upgrade materials, because it's like, well, what's he gonna do? Point me in the direction of the little robot guy? Is he just gonna point me back to the tower? But nope. Seems like they're throwing us back into the wilderness again so we can fend for ourselves. So yeah. I don't know about you guys, but I'm going to be spending my time looking up good little Spirit Bloom loopy routes. I mean, who knows? Maybe one of those Dreadnought chests drops like, like it'll drop Galahorn, then it drops like 40 Spirit Blooms. You know, personally at this point, I'd trade in my Galahorn for some Spirit Blooms if that's how these things are gonna work. Just, like at this point, they're pretty determined to just nerf Horn into the ground. It's almost a bit ridiculous. Like, there's no year 2 version of it, and now Wolfpack rounds, they're not even Wolfpack rounds, they're puppy rounds. They're baby packs. It's, I mean, okay, to be fair, we don't quite know how big the damage reduction is going to be. But if I had to take a guess, you know, based on the fact that Xur just sold Horn and now everybody has it, if I had to guess, I'd assume that the nerf is going to be pretty major. I mean, if they're confident enough about it as to where they would give out Horn to pretty much everybody, yeah, I'd say this is going to be a pretty nasty nerf. I'm calling it right now. 30% damage reduction. It's gonna be GG no re. It's gonna be bad, bros. It's gonna be bad. Well, yep. Rip in peace Horn, rip in peace. And moving on. I guess let's talk about the Vesta Dynasty. I mean, in all honesty, I'm just so over it. Like, ever since the Mythic class, they've just been really paranoid about, like, the raid exotics. And just every time they get paranoid about it, they end up ruining it. Because, you know, because, I mean, the Myth class, when it came out, it was pretty godlike. It was top tier. Honestly, a little bit too strong, if we're being completely objective about it. And then Crota's Inn comes out, we have the Necrochasm. Necrochasm is just bad. Period, end of story. So, then, we get the Prison of Elders. It's not really a raid, but it still has, you know, raid-like aspects to it. There's like a final big boss guy. It's got its own legendary weapons that you can only get from it. And it's got its couple set of exotics. And then, I guess the Vestia Dynasty... Jeez. I hate that the Vesta Dynasty and the Vestian Dynasty have like basically the same name. Ah, it's gross. Keep switching them up, but that doesn't matter. And so basically, I mean, I guess I figure the Vesta Dynasty was supposed to play some kind of role in like the Prison of Elders. Maybe it was like a drop you get from the chest after you beat Skolas, or maybe it was gonna be something, I don't know, something else. Maybe you were actually going to be able to get it at some point in time. But then that idea got scrapped, because the idea of giving people things is crazy. It's absolutely abhorrent. Why would you give anybody anything? Jeez. So yeah, from what it seems, I guess it's going to be more of a Taken King thing now for some reason. I don't really understand why it wasn't in the House of Wolves. Like, I don't get it. Wasn't in like trailers and stuff. I'm almost certain it was at least in the Crucible trailers where they were showing off some of the maps. There were people who had it, at least for the sake of making the trailer, and then it just sort of disappeared from existence, never to be seen again. So I'm not entirely sure what happened with it. Maybe they deemed it too powerful for anyone to ever see ever at any point in time. I don't know. Honestly, I'm not even sure I want the gun itself anymore. I just want some answers. What happened to it? Where'd it go? I'm confused. Where'd it go? What happened to it? You know, it's gonna be funny if, like, once the Taken King does drop, it's just not there, and then the Vesta Dynasty is just sort of like, it just becomes like the white rabbit of Destiny. It's something that we're going to be chasing for like all 10 years. It's always going to be in every trailer for every DLC ever, and then it's just never going to actually exist. I mean, that'd be funny. It'd be sort of cruel, but at least it'd be kind of funny. Nah. Yeah, I don't know. The Vesta Dynasty Salt, it's pretty strong with me. I'm probably not the best person to ask about this, because I am incredibly upset. So, moving on to something different. Something I'm not nearly as upset about and can probably form a coherent opinion on. Oh yeah, well, apparently Necrochasm's getting a buff. I mean, that's cool. Okay. What a wonderful time today to get along with each other. So yeah, Necrochasm's getting a buff. That one lady in the tower, the one you picked up the Sigil of Unity from, and I'm pretty sure the same one you get the Frontier Ghost Shell from if you pre-ordered the game. Yeah, she doesn't exist anymore. She's gone. She's never coming back. So yeah, that's tragic. Rip in peace, Tess. And